everyone. Okay, in my previous video I was talking about how with autism there's difficulty in understanding how people think and how they feel and so on and so forth, and I just talked about that. Now, you can probably hear it, but it's raining where I am and sometimes it's quite loud in my room, so I apologize for that if it drowns out anything I say, but I'll probably end up reiterating some of the stuff that I say anyway in later videos. So, this was going to be about something else, but as usual, well, I've started to notice a pattern anyway. Sometimes I'll come across a comment on my videos or someone else's videos or another video on TikTok that brings up something important that perhaps I hadn't thought about discussing, and because it's on my mind, I feel like I need to talk about it straight away. In this case, it's going to be about something that was said in another TikTok video regarding autism, which I've actually reposted, so you should be able to find it on my profile and stuff, you know, on my reposts, because I can't remember the name again of the person's whose video it was, so you can just find it there. Anyway, before I really get into it, gotta say, if you like the content, you want to see more, follow, like, comment, questions, requests in the comments, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and repost this video. Alright, so essentially what was said in the video I'm referring to is it was a girl talking about how she has autism, but a lot of the time she doesn't like to disclose to people when she meets them that she has autism. She doesn't like telling people that she has autism. Not from a place of being ashamed of it, but usually just because, from what I was getting, the idea that a lot of the time, because she's clearly like a low-functioning autism, just meaning, again, that it's not so evident in the behaviours or outwardly evident anyway, it's more of an internal situation. A lot of times she'll say it and then she gets these kinds of misconceptions of comments thrown at her from people who just clearly don't understand and are a bit ignorant about the whole disorder in and of itself. And yes, I've come across several situations. What I'm saying is basically, now, myself, I've gotten used to, since I was a kid, a lot of time I was told by my doctors, or when you go to school, by my parents, when you go to school, when you go to class, or you have a new teacher, usually in reference school course, or if I went to any group activities outside, like drama and that, I should tell my teachers and such I have autism, just so they're aware. I may need some support in some areas, or I may misunderstand things, and so on and so forth. Now, I did. But just because you've told them that you have autism doesn't mean they understand it. And there have been times in the past where I've told someone I have autism, like this girl also said in her videos, and their response has been, "Are you sure?" Or basically, "You don't look like you have autism," which I don't find a lot of things offensive. I mean, towards me, I usually try and see things from two points of view, because I know myself, if I say something that's rude, a lot of the time I don't mean to say that, I mean something else, and it's just come out the wrong way. So I try to see that with other people as well. I don't want to jump to, oh, they've said that offensively. And a lot of the time I don't think it is to be offensive. It's just because, for lack of a better word, they're ignorant about autism. They don't understand it, or they think they do, but they really don't. So they're not coming from a place of like maliciousness or of trying to be offensive. It's just, it comes out that way because they don't know any better, which I can be forgiving of, but that's part of the reason why raising awareness is so important. So yes, I've had, in my school there was a unit where everyone, or most people, students who had certain disorders, especially things like autism, who affected their behaviour and their learning, so neurological disorders, would go to this place during lunch or during break where they could hang out with people who were just like them, who wouldn't judge them. The problem was, I get that the idea came from a place of trying to be kind or accommodating, and lots of the students there did enjoy it, but it also made it a big target, so there were also lots of students that really didn't like it and refused to go. I myself refused to go simply because I could have fun with my friends. I didn't need to be around people who had the similar disorders to feel like I was accepted. But some people did. And they had teachers and staff to watch over them, but they weren't properly trained to understand what they were looking after. And I did go there once because a friend of mine wanted to go because she liked it, and I was like, okay, then fine, I'll go with you, because no one else was around and I didn't want her to be on her own and I wanted to hang out with someone. So I went there, met loads of people, various levels on the spectrum, and I go along with everyone. I mean, why not? I think it's easier for people who have disorders, regardless of if they're severe or not, to be more compassionate and sympathizing towards people who might have it more severely, like behavior and that. Like there was a guy who was like twice my size trying to show me his paper airplane. I'm not a big fan of paper airplanes, but I didn't stop him, and I engaged with him. I talked to him. I didn't even know his name because sometimes I forget to ask someone's name. But one of the teachers asked me why I was there. So I told him, oh, well, my friend came down here. And then he was like, okay, well, I would ask you to be really, really kind to the students, okay? Don't be mean to them, don't judge them, right? And sometimes they're going to act a little strangely. And instantly I was like, okay, don't feel like you always need to tell someone who comes here that, do you? But I told him anyway, just so he'd know, that I had autism myself. And the first thing he said was, are you sure? And I hate it, like the girl mentioned, when people say things like, you don't look like you're autistic. Because the first thing that comes to my head is, well, what are you expecting to see? Yes, there are severe forms of autism that affect your behavior, and it can be quite clear. But there are loads of disorders that affect your behavior, okay? That can affect a person's behavior, or their motor functions, or their language. It's not just autism, yeah? So I don't know what people are then looking for, because in my head I'm thinking, yeah, I am autistic, and that's the problem, because there is this misconception still where people will be looking at someone and think they're autistic because they have the severe behavior issues, but then not understand that someone who doesn't have those severe issues still has similar issues, but just inward. It's all mostly internal, not so much outside. And sometimes the behaviors do present themselves, just not severely. So I just wanted to talk about that in this video, yeah, because the girl, I came across her video randomly, and she's talking about it, and I was like, yeah, that's something that needs to be sorted out, that's something to be talked about, especially on the side of people who have low-functioning autism. And again, low-functioning meaning not your issues, like internal issues, or your learning difficulties, or any less than someone who's severe, but more like, it's different, yeah, it's different in how it affects you, and your behaviors aren't so severe. And again, girls with autism tend to be much, much better at masking than boys are, which means they're purposely blending in, suppressing behaviors, for example, to look, again, lack for a better word, normal. So I just thought it was important to talk about that, because the internal issues are always going to be there, even if they're not physical or outwardly obvious. And I just think that that's something that, yeah, like I said, needs to be sorted out, because it's very frustrating when someone with autism, you tell someone and they look at you differently. Even someone in her comments said that she hates it when she tells people her kid has autism, and their response is, "Aw," because that's a bit patronizing, because it's the immediate like assumptions like, "Oh, that poor child." It's like, yes, again, difficulties, but there are strengths, and it's not the end of the world. So it's not something to be pitied, but is something that needs to be supported. So I think that's a good place to end the video here. And next video, I'll just start talking about, hang on, it's Sunday. Yeah, so next video, I'll continue with something about autism. And I think then, you know, like I said before, I'm going to intersperse with ADHD. So as I said earlier, if you like the video and you want to see more, follow, like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, repost the video, because that would be great, and I'd really appreciate it, and questions and requests as well, or just thoughts, you know what, and I'll see you next time. Bye.